Hello, I'm CJ Werleman. We're recording this episode on the road, but please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Now let's get into it. During the 15 years I have covered the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as a journalist and human rights activist, I have published more than 200 newspaper and magazine articles documenting the systematic repression and annihilation of the Palestinian people under a criminal and barbaric military occupation. But no matter the horrors and realities that me and my colleagues report from the ground, Israeli and US propaganda has successfully flipped the reality of the conflict on its head by convincing the world that the criminal occupiers are the victims and the unlawfully occupied are the perpetrators.
Part of the tragedy of the Palestinians is that they have essentially no international support for a good reason. They don't have wealth, they don't have power, so they don't have rights. That's the way the world works, Your rights correspond to your power and your wealth. Same inside the United States. We shouldn't be surprised to see it.
But here comes the good news. What the legendary Noam Chomsky just said speaks to the old world, because in this new world and during this current times, Palestinians are winning in a global court of public opinion for the first time since European Jewish settlers began stealing and colonizing their land in the 1920s. Palestinians are winning because there's been a global awakening like never before. You see, until now, Western mainstream media outlets have been able to control the pro-Israel narrative by silencing and making invisible the Palestinian people. But in today's brave new world, social media has allowed Palestinians to share their reality with a global audience, challenging and countering the lies told about them by Israeli and American political leaders. This new dawn spells the end times to the apartheid Israeli state. And if you doubt what I'm saying here, then consider this: that at this moment, there is a global, multiracial, multi-faith, popular movement for justice in solidarity with the Palestinian people. But there isn't a single pro-Israel protest around the world, because only a bona fide psychopath could publicly support a powerful occupation force that kills more than 1,200 children in just 2 weeks. And please, don't be mistaken into believing that pro-Palestinian protests are only taking place among Muslim communities, because they're taking place in huge numbers throughout the Christian world. This is the French city of Paris, where tens of thousands expressed their rage towards Israeli war crimes on Sunday. And this is Manila, the capital of the Philippines. And this is Greece, where protesters chanted "Down the Zionist occupation." Similar protests have been seen in Australia, Canada, and throughout South America. But an even more revealing protest took place in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, when the largest Jewish protest in solidarity with Palestinians in US history took place, with 10,000 Jewish Americans taking to the streets and the US Capitol building to demand a ceasefire and an end to Palestinian genocide. And as we reported in a recent episode, an ever-increasing number of American Jews are turning against the state of Israel, because Zionism isn't Judaism. In fact, Zionism is a racist, ethno-nationalist ideology that is hostile to Judaism, the peaceful religion.
It is not the difference of religions which is causing this conflict. The state of Israel does not represent all Jews, and certainly does not represent the Jewish religion. According to Jewish religion, all of this is criminal. All of this is forbidden. Basics of Jewish belief teaches that Jews are in a divinely decreed exile. We are even forbidden to create a sovereignty for ourselves. But especially when this is by killing, stealing, oppressing an entire people. This is not only criminal according to international law. This is a true violation of Judaism.
Even more significantly, this changing of the tide against Israel is not only taking place among Jews outside of Israel, but also among the general Jewish Israeli population, with a new poll revealing that 86% of Israelis blame their government and Netanyahu for the attack carried out by Hamas 2 weeks ago. The world is finally waking up, and by world, I also mean members of the US government, including a US State Department official who announced his resignation on Tuesday, saying, and